Can you hear us now?
It looks like there's something coming out.
Is there any audio?
This is our first time, so wait, they're probably not up to it yet.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay, you can hear us. Great. So there is a little bit of a lag, a delay.
So we're out here. I'm hanging out with Chris today, and
I'm at Vince's place. I'm out in LA, and we just did a few videos today. We went and ate at a nice little cafe.
Joy Cafe.
Joy Cafe had a vegan pizza. You had?
I had superfood pancakes for lunch because I always think it's proper to have pancakes for lunch.
They were super foodie too. And then we did a little video at I didn't even know it existed, but Follow Your Heart, who makes the Vegenaise, the Vegenaise, and the cheeses and everything. They have their own little store here in LA. I've never been there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, they have a lot of different cheeses. We went down and checked out the cheese aisle. They had Miyoko's. They had their own cheese. They had Chow from Field Roast. They had a local brand called Bloodica. They had Yvonne's Vegan Kitchen. What else? They had every vegan cheese you can imagine.
Okay, now I can see the comments. So how's it going, everyone? Let's see who we got in here. How do I minimize this? Okay, there we go.
We're having
a vegan fest coming to New Jersey. Cool. That's
nice.
That's within my reach. I'm in New York. Well, right now I'm in LA, but
that's a little far out of my reach, though.
Yeah. So,
Texas is in the house. Japan.
Just waking up in Japan. We're on the other side of the world. It's really, really nice weather here in LA. I'm loving it out here, really. I go home in about a week, and then I get to see my pup and all the snow in Syracuse. From the UK, we got someone from the UK. How's it going, Megadots?
What time is it in the UK right now? I'm curious.
They're, I think, 7 hours ahead.
Are they 7?
Something like that.
Nice.
So,
New Mexico. Michigan. Hey, what's up?
V for vegan. Belfast. Saudi Arabia. Cool. So I don't know if anybody used to watch our You Now, but this is our first YouTube live, and I like the format a lot better here because you can see all of us.
Yeah.
All of us. We don't have to squeeze into one little short format there. So, yay, Indy.
50 past midnight. Wow. You are up late, Megadots. Awesome.
I stay up late too. I understand.
You're a night owl, man.
Canada.
Tell us your backstory.
Wait, are you talking about? You know my backstory, right? You want to know? You want to know Vince's backstory? Is that correct?
You can tell someone.
Donna Vargas. Hey, how's it going, Donna?
YouTube's picture is way better.
Yeah. So you are in the right place this time. Usually when we're streaming to YouTube, you gotta ask us questions over in the You Now, but it's not like that right now. We're doing YouTube.
As a vegan, yes, Vince. Okay, so my backstory of how I became vegan was it's been about 11 years ago now. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which, if you're not aware of that, it's an inflammatory bowel disease. I did a video on it on my YouTube channel because the end of last year I was going through a real flare. But I went through a lot of different medications, a lot of different things to try to improve my health. I was having a lot of symptoms after being first diagnosed. And after trying a bunch of different things, I actually started to go incorporating green juices into my diet. That was kind of like my first step. And I didn't really know what to do because when you're first diagnosed, they tell you, stay away from any roughage, stay away from raw food. You're eating a lot of meat, you're eating a lot of rice, bread. But my symptoms really weren't improving, and I tried to go on something called the specific carb diet, which when I was on that, and I was on that for about 2 years, my symptoms improved, but I was still having a lot. And it wasn't until I started incorporating more green juices into my diet that I started feeling better. And I remember like when I had my first green juice, I was like, whoa, like, should I even be having this? Because I was worried about all the symptoms. And then after having the green juice and having that every day for a few weeks, then I started having salads and feeling better. And then I just slowly started cutting everything out, slowly cutting out the dairy and then the meat and then the chicken. I think fish and honey were probably the last two things for me to go. And then I became vegan after that. Then you start educating yourself as you cut some of these foods out, and the more you learn about, you know, the process of how that food starts and then how it gets onto your plate, you start educating yourself about that process. And then you realize about all the benefits of going plant-based and really trying to concentrate a diet around whole foods. And that's what I'm doing right now. So it's kind of like a long but not long, but short but not short answer to that question.
V says, we talked about that last year at Veg Fest.
Yes.
So they remember you.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember meeting her.
Cabbage is king.
Cabbage is king.
I'm just tweeting out that we're live. YouTube.
So what's your favorite hands down vegan dish?
We were just talking about that. I'm going to Sun Cafe. We're going to Sun Cafe later after this, and everybody's going to show up now. We're not going to Sun Cafe, but they have a couple things on their menu that I really like, and I also at Sage, I love their buffalo cauliflower bites. They're so. We were just talking about that earlier. But I'm also a huge pizza. There's so many food. I don't know if I can just even really pick one food anymore. Like, there's so many delicious foods.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we went to Shojin here in Los Angeles, which is...
It was his birthday, everyone. Happy birthday.
Thanks. And it's an all vegan, organic, gluten-free sushi restaurant. And they make something called the baked scallop roll, which... that thing is freaking amazing. They flame torch it at your table. And it's basically mushrooms, which I know Chris isn't a big fan of those, but they do taste like scallops, because I remember having scallops before I became vegan, and with the sauces and everything. And then we had that wrap, that crab cake hand roll, that was pretty good too.
That was really good. Everything was so good. It's mushrooms, man. V says, Chris, how was Seabirds? Was delicious. We got so many. Everything I ate there was really good, all the way up to the dessert. The churro waffle with the ice cream on top. We all split it. We didn't eat the whole thing. I mean, one person didn't eat the whole thing. We split it. It was delicious. Seabirds is great. And Ted, Vegan MacGyver, Walk Wildside, makes the cheese that goes on the salad there. And, there was another one here. Here's a good one. Do you have any advice for someone who is struggling to go vegan? What I always tell people, the first thing that comes to mind for me as a longtime vegan is make a list of all of your favorite foods, and then you can go online, you can Google each of those recipes, and you're going to find hundreds of recipes with, let's say you're looking for, I don't know, a vegan pizza. You're going to find hundreds of recipes, literally, of anything from like a really healthy raw vegan pizza to like a comfort food cheesy stuffed pizza. You're going to find something in between that you're going to like. So make a list of all of your favorite foods, and you can start making everything that you were eating as a meat eater vegan. Okay, that's great. And also you want to learn what things that you might not know are vegan or what's not vegan. Learn the ingredients, learn what's not vegan. Like, for instance, gelatin is in a lot of things. Gelatin's even in a lot of Planters peanuts. And what it is like connective tissues and stuff like that from bones and ligaments, and it's gross. But learn all of the things that are, all the ingredients that are not vegan, and learn to read labels. You want to always read your labels and see what you're eating. So, and then there's a lot of support groups and, YouTube videos, inspirational videos, just things that will help you go vegan. It's really great in today's day and age.
Yeah, I would say advice for going vegan would be also everything that Chris said. And in addition to, is like, don't worry about being perfect in the beginning, because you may make some mistakes. It's progress over perfection, and start incorporating plant-based meals into your diet the best you can, and then start going bigger and bigger and bigger. You don't worry about waking up the next day and saying I'm vegan and everything else. Just do it gradually, do it at your own pace, and do it at a pace that you're comfortable with, because that's going to be sustainable in the long run. So just keep doing what you feel you can handle, and then keep going more and more. And I think the more you educate it yourself, the more you find out about the different recipes Chris was talking about, because there's a lot of different ways to make vegan food taste like what you're having right now. So if you wanted to have, you could have like pulled jackfruit, and you can make like a jackfruit burger that tastes just like pulled pork. And I've taken people to restaurants here in LA that aren't vegan just so they can try vegan food, and they're blown away with how real it tastes. And then when you look at, maybe your cholesterol is high, maybe you want to lose some weight, maybe you want more energy, because your body, it takes a lot more time to process certain types of meat that you eat, because it takes its toll on it, where if you're eating more plants and vegetables in a healthy way, it's easier for your digestive system. So just progress over perfection. I think if you're just starting, don't worry about it so much.
Yeah, in addition to our channel, I say go follow Vince on his YouTube channel. It's Vince Lia, and he's got a lot of videos where he takes non-vegans out to change their minds about, stereotypes that vegan food isn't good and it's not filling and stuff like that. And his videos are really well put together. So
Thanks,
definitely go over and give him some love. Angela, thank you so much for the tip. I appreciate it so much.
Why do people tell us not to use oil as a vegan? There's a lot of people out there that do oil free.
Right. And look at what oil does. They say look at what oil does when you put it down a drain. It like clogs it up. It's like that's what's going through our body when we use oils.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of oil, but I think there are certain oils, like such as coconut oil, that have a lot of healthy fats for you. And there's certain times when you want to use oil in a certain dish. And I just found out from Yvonne that you can actually water saute.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I was blown away.
Yeah.
And it tasted great. So there's different methods if you want to cut down oil. I'm not oil free by any means.
Right. And I use it sometimes. I cook with oil, coconut oils and stuff like that. But I don't deep fry or anything. But the good thing is there's a thing called the air fryer, and I have one. I use it almost every day.
Oh, I wanted to try that.
You don't need any oil for this, and I use it just to heat things up. I don't use a microwave. I use an air fryer for almost everything.
And try to, if you are going to use oil, just use like a coconut oil, or if you're doing something on a barbecue and you don't want it to burn, you could use a high heat oil like sunflower oil or safflower oil or something like that, where you're not deep frying it in oil all the time. I think that's one of the main things.
Gummy is so sad. He says the company Yum Earth has a few products that are vegan, and they're really good.
Charm Vegan in Pasadena. I haven't been there yet, but it's definitely something. Oh, thank you, V. Appreciate that. How do you recommend to avoid the burnout in dealing with vegan outreach? Are you referring to the burnout of just trying to communicate the message to others who maybe aren't listening to you? I just wanted exactly.
Here's so over the years, I ended up creating my channel, The Vegan Zombie, and that was like the perfect way for me to promote veganism in a way that I was passionate about. And over the years, certain methods just don't work for certain people. But you got to remember at the end of the day that you can only control what goes on in your own mind. You can't make anyone make a decision. You have to inspire, educate, and be a role model, and make people want to do it. But you can't beat yourself up if people aren't doing it, because you can't make their decisions. You got to live your life and do the best you can. If somebody is not open to doing it, then move on. You're going to make an impact on other people. Just being a vegan, you're doing something, because your meals are going to probably start a conversation, if they haven't already, with friends or family or coworkers, and then that opens up the dialogue to get the gears turning, to ask the questions of why, and then they start doing their own research, and usually people tend to want to do the right thing. And that's...
I had a friend that I take to some of the vegan restaurants, and he's in some of my videos on my channel. And he just recently found out that he started becoming lactose intolerant. So now he's like, if I want cheese, he's forced to have some sort of vegan cheese. So now that's kind of opening his eyes to everything else. And I think once you start doing that, because it's amazing how many people you find out they're lactose intolerant. And they choose vegan options not because they're vegan or they don't know the reason, but just because they can't have that. And I think a lot of people start that way. I mean, I started for health reasons in the beginning, and I think a lot of people are focusing on that right now. I mean, you keep hearing people talk about veganism being one of the biggest movements going on right now, and I think a lot of it has to do with health, as people start looking to incorporate more whole foods into their diet.
And and a lot of people they wonder why so many people are lactose intolerant, but we're not meant to be drinking bovine milk that is meant for an 80-pound calf to turn into a 600, 700, 800-pound cow. Yeah. I mean,
let's see. Love your cookbook.
Hey there, you dirty devils. Cheap vegan recipes. Actually, I've been doing vegan on a budget videos. So if you check it out, I go shopping, $30 a week. I was asked to do it for a college student, and then I go on with some of these cheap meals and ingredients, and I make meals on it. So if you check my videos in the last couple months, I have a bunch of videos like that.
There's actually a vegan meal plan that Michelle from World of Vegan and Tony from Plant Based on a Budget just came out, where you could buy all your meals for the week vegan, and it's like $20, I think. And you could find that on one of their websites, either worldofvegan.com, plantbasedbudget.com. They'd have links to that meal plan. It's pretty cool. I actually bought the meal plan and checked it out, and it shows you how you can repurpose a lot of foods. A lot of times what I like to do is cook a big batch of rice in the beginning of the week, and then you could change the flavor of that rice to whatever meal you're cooking later on. So you've already prepped a lot of the work beforehand.
Vegan Lion says, scientifically something, there is no such thing as healthy oil. Well, that is true. Some oils are a little bit healthier than others, but I would recommend don't cook your food with motor oil. Love my fryer. Thanks, Chris. Love your cookbook. Thank you.
Websites where you can find vegan products.
Tips on high blood pressure.
High blood pressure. That's, gosh.
Usually when you adopt a proper plant-based diet, your blood pressure usually goes down.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of...
your cholesterol goes down because there's no cholesterol in vegan food.
Yeah, you just have to really try to stay away from processed food. I mean, whether you're vegan or not, processed food is processed food.
Right.
So you really want to try to minimize that.
Oversaturated with things like sodium. Some products have MSG in it, which is really bad for you. I make tofu your way always. Hey, that's the best way.
Do you have any favorite
vegan products? Veganessentials.com.
Yes.
Go there and you can find all the best vegan products.
And vegan cuts, too.
Vegan cuts.
They have some pretty cool subscription
boxes. Yeah, I'm actually
boxes.
editing that video right now.
There you go, man.
Well, right now we're talking, but after. I'm from Chittenango Middle School. Are you? Yes, I graduated from Chittenango Elementary, Middle, and High School. So awesome. We have another alumni there. Well, I'm the alumni in Chittenango. I actually did a presentation at Chittenango Middle School a couple years ago. We did it 2 years in a row. We cooked some food in the health class, and we did a big demo in the auditorium. It was fun. That's where I'm from.
So, big bowl. What's a good
vegan cheese? We just did a video on it, actually. Miyoko's, hands down, is probably the best. Miyoko's has great artisan cheeses, and she also has delicious cheese for pizza, melting on the pizza.
The mozzarella.
I've done several videos on this. My last video that I put up was the margarita pizza with her cheese. She just came out with a smoked mozzarella, but there's a lot of different other, like Chow is good, Violife is good. We were just talking about our friend Yvonne, if you're in the California area. Yvonne, Delicious Kitchen, she makes her own cheese. We just had some of that for lunch. By the way, my pizza was a barbecue jackfruit pizza.
With Miyoko's mozzarella?
No, I don't think there was any cheese on it. I put Yvonne's cheese on it.
Oh, you mean the one for lunch?
For lunch, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually did a video with Yvonne. If you go to my channel, you could see us making the cheese that we had for lunch. And the cheese that she makes it's really clean. It's only 7 ingredients, and you just toss it in a blender. And for me, that's what I prefer. I always like to look at the back, and I prefer not to have a cheese that has a ton of ingredients with a lot of chemicals. Because if you think about it, you can make a great vegan cheese with only a few ingredients if you start off with soaked cashews and then flavor it however you want it with like lemon juice. And
they're great for adapting taste. They're like a neutral thing.
Yeah, they're great for spreads. It's amazing.
Let's see. When did your vegan journey started? Danny asks. Okay, did you just tell yours?
Yeah, I mean, I've been vegan for maybe 3 years now. How many you been vegan for? We were talking about that this morning.
Okay, so my vegan journey, I actually think that my vegan journey started when I was first introduced to like living the lifestyle of a vegetarian. And that was 27 years ago, and I've been vegan for 22 and a half now. So a long time is when I started. And I like to say that not knowing it at the time, I lived my whole teenage years and adult life this way. But not knowing it at the time, it was probably the single best decision I ever made without knowing it. So.
And somebody said they love my hair. I'm sure they were talking about my hair, right?
Yeah, your hair.
Because my hair is really difficult to maintain.
You know what's funny is my hair used to look exactly like his hair 5 years ago, and I had that haircut for like 20 years.
The best thing I ever saw with you is I think it was a snap where you open the door, and when you have your hair like that with the beard, you almost look like Jesus answering the door. And you do this thing where it's like, oh.
Oh, I did that on Snapchat a long time ago. Yeah. Faux turkey, vegan for the animals, absolutely. Wearing my vegan zombie hoodie in my profile pic, awesome V. Do you vegans are more compassionate in general? Yes, because most vegans are doing it they know the reasons why they're vegan. Whether they go vegan for health reasons or not, they start learning as they go. And they find out go from point A to point B, how their food gets to them. And it's a cruel thing that people do to animals to get meat and dairy. And I think a lot of people, once they know that, are compassionate. And I had a conversation with you yesterday about all that, about just being compassionate. And hey, beautiful people. Hey, Lala.
How old are you?
And was it hard? Was it hard? It was absolutely not hard at all. For me, it was a new change in my life. I was excited about it. I was enlightened, and I was making it work. Not knowing at the time, there was no internet, there was no Google, there was no YouTube. I couldn't find out if I was going to be sick if I went vegan or not. I did it, and I actually felt a lot healthier just a couple weeks into doing it. I didn't have a support group because being a vegan back then was unheard of. There was barely any vegan companies. They were far and few in between. And let's just say today it is 100 times easier to be a vegan, and I didn't even think it was hard back then. I mean, sometimes going out, it was a little more challenging. You'd have to find, you'd have to really talk to the people like, hey, I can't have any of this in my food, any of that in my food. But nowadays, I mean, things are labeled with the V. There's a lot of vegan products. It wasn't like that back then.
I think what you're seeing too, you could even go into mainstream restaurants, Cheesecake Factory, Yard House, and major chains that they even have vegan menus, vegan options, or stuff that'll say vegan. I know Yard House in LA, they offer Gardein. So even if I don't eat a lot of Gardein, but if I'm out with a bunch of friends and I'm hungry, I know I can go to some places and have something that's vegan.
Yeah, almost everywhere you go now has some kind of vegan option, or you can talk to the chef. Loey Twitty says, is Chittenango Middle School familiar? Actually, the one that you're going to now did not exist when I went to middle school. So the middle school, when I was going to school, was the one right down the hill on Lake Street from the high school. So that's where I went to school.
What are our two go-to meals? I would honestly, I like
tofu scramble and pizza.
I like tempeh.
Tempeh is great.
I'm a big tempeh fan because it's fermented soy.
If you make it right, a lot of people don't like tempeh because they don't make it right.
Yeah.
But And I didn't used to like it myself either, but we have a few recipes. We kind of collaborated with Gabby from Tamerlane Farm, whose shirt I'm wearing right now. This is a great farm sanctuary in New Jersey. Good friends of mine, and we did a video there with the animals, and we also did a cooking video there, and she shows how to make the best marinated barbecue tempeh. I definitely suggest watching that video.
People want to know how old we are. Actually, how old do you think we are? Because we're actually the same age.
We're the same age.
We're the same age, so...
Let's not tell anybody.
I want to see if somebody guesses it.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I already said like a lot of things to indicate we're old. Love how you promote veganism and think it's so effective. I was wondering what you think about people who promote veganism more aggressively as some people do. Okay, so that's great.
Ooh.
So that is something that I just never agreed with. I always saw the in-your-face approach, even from back in the day when I went vegan, and it just didn't resonate with me. I don't like it. Like, usually when somebody tells me what I have to do, I tend to not want to do it. And a lot of people are like that. So I wanted to find a way to promote veganism that was fun, entertaining, exciting. So I made a vegan cooking show that was set in a zombie apocalypse. I wanted to make it a comedy, yet entertaining. I wanted people to watch it, learn the message, and say, wow, this is very doable. This is delicious. And because let's face it, vegan is like, it starts in the kitchen. We have to eat. If we don't eat, we die. And people choose to eat either a vegan diet, a plant-based diet, or they choose to eat animals, which is wrong. We shouldn't be harming these animals. These animals are innocent. And I wasn't going to talk about this because it's kind of off on a tangent, but I think it's a really good analogy. Like, I was talking about, like, when you want to, the cliche of, like, helping an old lady across the street. Everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants to, like, feel good that they did the right thing. Now, how would you feel if you helped push her down and, like, end her life? No, that's not good, right? Well, these animals are innocent, and we have the power and the initiative and the intelligence to do what we want with them, and people choose to give them a life of suffering. They sometimes look to us for, like, hey, you're the one that should be protecting me, and we really should be. So wouldn't you feel a lot better helping these animals, protecting these innocent animals, than going out and killing them and eating them? I mean, that is just a life of guilt, and it just doesn't jive with our morals. And it really shouldn't jive with anybody's morals.
And you see, too, a lot of companies, we were talking yesterday, like Ben & Jerry's. Ben & Jerry's came out with non-dairy vegan ice cream. And you see a lot of people that are more aggressive saying, you should still boycott Ben & Jerry's because they do make ice cream that uses milk and it's not a vegan company. But when you look at the impact that a company like Ben & Jerry's can make, and if sales of something like that, I mean, I've tasted the vegan ice cream. It tastes just like the dairy version, the non-vegan ice cream. So if sales of the vegan ice cream do well, I mean, that just shows how much power there is in marketing and how your dollar speaks. And making those purchases matter. And big companies are starting to listen. Like we talked about having vegan options at restaurants now. I mean, people are going to listen. You see a lot of large companies.
When you see a company like that do it, all the other big companies are following suit.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing like Tyson Foods, the largest chicken supplier, buy into Beyond Meat. I mean, that's saying that we want a piece of this pie because we know this is going to grow, and they have some of the channels to help promote Beyond Meat. And it's kind of difficult sometimes when you look at it, but when you're trying to reach the most amount of people with that message, that's just kind of where we're at.
Yeah. Giovanna says hi from Brazil. Wow, hi from LA. Let's see, what are your two favorite meals? I think we already answered that. Vince, I love your hair too. Roasted red peppers and cheese. How old are you? Wow. Well, did anybody guess the?
Somebody guessed.
They probably knew because I've said it before.
But look at all the 30s, man.
Here we are. So we're a little behind on the comments, so we're still scrolling through. Let's see, Vince. There are foods that trigger your UC. Are there foods that trigger your UC?
Yeah,
spicy foods, right?
Spicy foods. I get a lot of grief for that because I don't have a lot of spicy food, and to be honest with you, I have both IBS and IBD. So sometimes a lot of like cruciferous vegetables trigger my IBS. So I really try to stay away from some of those like heavily cruciferous vegetables. Those do bother me still.
Are you militant about being vegan? In what way? There's like certain I don't consider myself militant in being vegan. I do consider myself a strict vegan, and I will never, waver in any kind of moral there. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm always polite and considerate to other people, but I will never, like, let's say I go somewhere and somebody makes a dinner and they make it non-vegan. I won't be polite and eat their dinner. I will be polite and say, I'm sorry, but I don't eat that. And I will never make an exception.
Yeah.
So I am always vegan. I never, if something comes out and it has some little piece of cheese on it, I'm sorry, it's going back. I liken that to like a dead animal being there, or like rat poop or something. Like, it's not okay for me. It's not food for me, and I will not eat it.
And for some, I have a lot of friends that aren't vegan, but a lot of times when they make something, it'll ask the question, like, why aren't you eating that? And I think rather than attacking I'll just give an example. If I'm at a barbecue and somebody's eating a hamburger, and then I decide not to eat it, and they ask me why, then I'll say, I'm vegan, I don't eat it. Usually that's, rather than attacking somebody for eating the hamburger, usually that's going to spark a question as to, why don't you eat that? And I think you can educate somebody with compassion about why you're making the decisions you're doing, rather than attacking them for the decisions that they're making. And I think that's a more effective means in the long run for educating people.
Right. Gene says, it looks like you're not on YouNow. Have you thought about doing this? We've been using YouNow all the way up until right now. This is our first YouTube live without using YouNow, and I'm really liking the format. You can get both of us in the picture, and it just looks a lot better. So I'm trying it out.
Some Miss Venus, love your shirt. Well, we both have shirts on, so hope you like both of them.
This is actually Vince's shirt. You can get it on his website, right?
Yeah, vincelia.com. I have a whole line of shirts, and I have women's tank tops as well. So you can check them out.
And you can get mine on tamerlanefarm.org or com. I don't know. But look up Tamerlane Farm. Good friends of mine. Let's see.
Awesome. Thanks, Megadots. I'm glad we were able to help you out.
I haven't grown any food inside. John and I have a garden video that we did a couple years ago. We really want to do more with that. And John is a manager of a garden center, and he's got a lot to talk about. So when I get back to the East Coast, we're going to try to do some videos like that. So be on the lookout.
You didn't say your age. Hey, Grease is in the house.
Somebody got our age right. Somebody knew.
How old is this dude? Which dude? LeBron got carried by teammates James. LeBron get carried by teammates James. Derek
says, hi, I'm the guy who made the "you two should kiss" joke a few days ago on Facebook. I wanted to officially... her boyfriend looked up and he was like, what? And then we're like... No, her boyfriend was on the other side of the camera. No, she was never mad.
What foods are you most excited about at the vegan street fair? Wow.
Well, Sun Cafe is going.
Sun Cafe is going to be there. Charlie's Brownies is going to be there.
Oh, Charlie, yes.
He makes some, and he has a really special brownie coming out. I don't want to give away the details, but check his booth out. It's good stuff. Yeah. And what else? Plant Food for People. I haven't had their tacos in a while. I need to go.
I just had them last week with my friend Cesar and Vegan Fat Kid.
Yeah, it's good stuff over there.
Okay, so where are we at now?
How can I know when a product is vegan?
Well, you read the ingredients. Okay, so you read the ingredients, and if you don't see anything in there that's not vegan, that's a good indicator. But if you see things that you might not be sure about, well, there's always some vegan products nowadays have the V on it for certified vegan. If you still don't know, you can look up some of those ingredients. And if you're still unsure, you can contact the company. I've done that quite a bit, like when all the ingredients look vegan, and I'm still not sure why it might not be labeled vegan when other products in their company are or not. And I'll contact the company, and they're usually really good about that.
LeBron get carried by teammates James. I love that name, but he says buy Whole Foods and you know it's vegan. I think that's a great comment.
LeBron?
LeBron get carried by my teammates. James.
Oh, by Whole
I just
Foods.
love that name. But yeah, I mean that's a great comment. But in addition to when you go into the grocery store, a lot of times you want to try to focus on the outer edges where all the fresh food is, because more of the processed food is on the inside.
In the middle. That's what they want.
So
So Vegan Metal Fitness says we live in North Omaha and we get a lot of grief for being vegan. So my friend did live in Omaha and I was there. We did a couple videos at Whole Foods, and she owns a restaurant called Modern Love. She owns one in Omaha and in New York City. So if you're in Omaha, you have an awesome restaurant there, Modern Love. Go there. I actually cooked there. I did some of my pizza recipes there.
Oh wow!
I was working on a pizza cookbook. What are your best road trip vegan tips? Find out what restaurants. There's apps like Happy Cow and stuff like that, but find out what restaurants are on your way and stop off at these places. Even call ahead, find out if they're going to be open or not. Bring some. I always bring food with me.
I'm always packed. When I do a road trip, we just did, a few buddies of mine, we drove from California to Texas a couple years ago, and we literally packed a cooler of food, put a bunch of ice in there, and we didn't really stop a lot for food because
you had it.
We had it. And food in a cooler, especially vegan food, because you think about it, it's not going to go bad like cheese would or dairy or meat. So yeah, it's.
I actually last fall a friend and I we drove from Syracuse all the way to Standing Rock, and I wanted to, because you know what I do for YouTube. Like I stopped at all these vegan restaurants. So I was in Chicago, the Chicago Diner, and we even went to the first and only, or the first vegan restaurant in Fargo. So I mean, it can be fun. You know, you can figure out, we did a whole route up to Canada too, Montreal and over down through Maine. We saw Stephen King's house, and then we came all the way back. So that was really fun too.
Glad I was able to answer your question, Cody. Love your thank you, V. Love your models. Appreciate that. Let me see if vegans are reading English. If you're still not good content, they're coming. Exactly. That's exactly what you said, Chris. No way is around the 40s. What is the best way to increase your testosterone as a vegan?
Go vegan. Well, as a vegan, you're already doing a good deal, because meats and dairies are full of hormones and antibiotics, estrogen. Those are the real killers there.
I mean, that's a reason. A lot of I can't say this as a fact, but what I've heard is products like Viagra and all that stuff are basically because people aren't eating whole foods. So, going vegan will definitely address that. I don't know if there's specific foods. I may have to get back to you on that.
Doesn't it snow 10 months out of the year? Yeah. In Syracuse, it snows a lot. We are actually rated the snowiest city in the entire nation. Yeah, it snows a lot. So hopefully when I get home, it'll be at the end, and spring will be in the air, and then it'll look really nice, and then it'll snow again. But that's what happens.
Yes, Plant Food for People. They are at the Saturday morning. I haven't been there yet, but I need to go check them out.
You are such a liar. Nope. Special brownies. I don't eat the special brownies. I eat the deliciousness ones.
Yes. Cacao.
The special brownies go to other people.
I saw your vegan XOS.
Yeah, we're actually getting a lot more questions here than you know.
I'll check that out. Thanks.
Yeah, Miss Venus. LA has so many vegan options. Back where I live, there's one vegan restaurant, and there's a few vegan friendly places, but out here it's I could go to a different one every day it's all vegan, and it's just amazing.
I feel pretty fortunate living out here in LA. With all the vegan options.
Oh, and then she also says, are there other vegan events coming up? So yes, there's LA Veg Fest coming up in April, and then in May there is Eat Drink Vegan, which I'm going to try to come back for. And that's at the end of the month. That's on the 27th.
And then Vegan Street Fair is on Sunday in North Hollywood.
Vegan Street Fair is this Sunday, and we will be there.
know you now. Do you take protein powders? And if you do, what is your favorite brand and flavor? I go on and off personally with protein powders. In the past, I've used Sun Warrior. I try to do protein powders that are pretty clean. I mean, you get a lot of protein from the plants you eat, but if you do want some additional protein, I prefer Sun Warrior. It's pretty clean, but we were just at Expo, and there's a lot of new brands coming out with clean ingredients. 22 Days Nutrition has a pretty clean protein powder.
One. Fit People is a great one. It's so clean. The packaging is biodegradable. Even a wooden spoon in it. It's one of my favorites. And like Vince said, I don't take any protein powder because I feel I need protein. I might just use it to make the smoothie taste a little bit better, and also it has a lot of other minerals and vitamins in it that you might, you're set. I don't take vitamins, so I take things that are fortified, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Vegan MacGyver with iron and grilled cheese. Yes, I actually just did a video with Vegan MacGyver yesterday. Let's see. Okay, so we're catching up on the comments here.
Yeah.
Have you been prepared for it? Yes, better vascular circulation when you go vegan, so that increases your non-need for Viagra.
Yeah.
Vino's, I'm straight edge.
Yes, Chris is straight edge.
Okay, so we caught up to the questions. Whew. So I guess, how long have we been on? Does it say? 42 minutes.
42 minutes.
42 minutes.
Not too bad. A lot of questions.
Somebody else asked about the YouNow thing. So what do you guys think? Do you like these better? I like the format better. I haven't quit YouNow, but I'm definitely liking these, and I think I can post these right to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and what's pretty cool too is they have the super chat, so you can give Chris a tip if you want to help him out, support the channel. It's kind of like if you can't do Patreon, you can just support him right now in the chat as well. So those are pretty cool. You could ask him to do something. Maybe he'll do it for a tip.
I don't drink any sparkling water. The only thing I drink are fresh-made juices, smoothies, and water. Plant-based milks, that kind of thing.
And I personally don't do any sparkling water just because of the carbonation in the water. I don't do any carbonated ingredients at all.
And Angela asked, feel free not to answer, but is there ever any beef in the YouTube? Yeah, there definitely is a lot of beef. Usually like chicken, or it's just...
You buy ethically made clothing or
I make my own t-shirts and stuff, and I buy, so like vegan t-shirts, stuff like that. I do like a thing called Vegan Tea Thursday, so I'm always promoting different vegan t-shirts, that kind of thing. And basically, I found a pair of pants that I really liked, and I just bought like 3 pair of them, and I just kind of trade through them. And I do have a really good, they're kind of like worn out now, but I have a really cool vegan shoe that is an entire vegan company, and it's called Ani, A-N-I, as nature intended. And I haven't shouted these out in a while, but if you guys are interested in Ani, or Annie, I do have a code. It's called Zombie Kicks, and you can get... And literally, they're my favorite shoes. I love them. They're comfortable, and I wear them every day.
Yeah, and I try to do the same thing Chris does, especially... And it's kind of odd sometimes when you get gifts from family members. I remember when I first became vegan, I got a leather belt for Christmas or something like that, and I'll just go ahead and take it and then return it rather than making the person who gave it to me feel bad. To me, it's just, if somebody's giving you as a gift, you may try to explain it as to why you won't have it, depending on who they are. I mean, if your grandma's giving you a leather belt, you probably just want to say thank you.
Mr. Hakula, oh crap, they're running out of questions. Quick, ask them how we get our protein. We get it over that way. Ugh.
A favorite snack from Expo. What I did, I'm going to tell people what I did on Expo this year.
You didn't go this year, right?
No, I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
1 day though, right?
What I did is, because every year, the past few years, I've gone to Expo, and you eat so much food during the day, you don't even realize it, because you're walking by all these vendors. They're like, try this, try this, try that, try that. And probably at the end of the day, you've eaten like 20 bars. You don't even realize it because you're having snacks of them. So what I did is I really packed a bunch of my own food. I packed lunch and even possibly dinner.
I didn't.
I ate my own, and I limited myself to a maximum of 3 things to try per day. So whatever I passed by really had to impress me for me to try that thing. And the first thing I tried, the first day I only tried one thing, smoked mozzarella from Miyoko's.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
It is.
So at Expo, I really tried to cut down on a lot of the stuff I was having, and they have samples, so if something did interest me, I would just take a sample and try it later, so you're not having all that stuff at one time.
Right.
Because to me, that just ruins my digestive system.
Same here. I just was eating what I knew, what I liked, and that's... But, as your question for favorite vegan snack, the Unreal, they have peanut butter cups, but they just came out with 2 flavors of vegan M&M candies, and that's awesome.
Lecanto was pretty good. Lecanto had some... they have a really low glycemic sweetener made out of monk fruit, and they're coming out with almost like a vegan Nutella and other products which are really low glycemic. There's no sugar added.
Wait, that's the one we were just talking about.
Yeah, it's all monk fruits.
Filmed the video on that.
It's pretty good.
Do you make tofurkey for Thanksgiving? I've been making tofurkey since I went vegetarian, so for almost 30 years now. Tofurkey, and I've tried the other ones and I like the other ones, but tofurkey is my favorite. And we did a video for a vegan roast, and you can basically season it that way. I probably should do another video on actually how.
Yeah.
What about you?
For Thanksgiving, when I first went vegan, I went to a cooking class here in LA by the Spork Foods, and they teach you how to make this roast. It's made out of tofu. But what you do is you press the tofu down to get all the water, and then you just you crumble it up. You just kind of crumble it up with your hand, and you put all these different seasonings in it. Which you're talking oregano, you're talking mustard, you're talking a ton of different things, and then you take a pastry wrap, and you fill the pastry wrap.
This is Miyoko's, right?
No, it's a pastry wrap I find at Whole Foods is the only place I could find it.
This was Miyoko's recipe. She's got that unturkey that she makes like the tofu with the wrap and all that stuff.
I don't know. I didn't know Miyoko's. Yeah. And then you wrap it and then you glaze it with some maple syrup. Yeah. And you put it in the oven and then you cook it. And I've had people over that aren't vegan for Thanksgiving. They're going back for that instead of the turkey, because all the flavors with the spices and everything that you're having in it, like it doesn't taste like you're eating tofu to somebody who's never had tofu before. It actually tastes really good.
Oh, we need a charger for this to plug it in. What's your favorite city in the world for vegan food? Well, it's probably either LA or Portland. I think Portland is even more vegan friendly, but LA also.
Yeah, I mean,
and then New York City. Yeah,
I was in Austin last year, or 2 years ago now. Wow, time flies. And Austin was pretty good. I mean, I live in LA. I can't complain. LA has some great vegan options. I haven't really spent a lot of time in Portland yet, but I definitely want to get up to Portland and check out what they have up there.
What made you guys decide to become vegan? Well, like I said, I went vegetarian at a really, really young age, and I had no idea what that was. But after I was introduced to that, I started learning more on my own. And after a couple of years, I was like, "Wow, I'm going vegan," and I went vegan when I was still a teenager.
For me, I talked earlier in the broadcast. It was mainly for health reasons. After being diagnosed with colitis, excuse me. Wow, I'm just curious. Vegan festivals in Japan. How strong is veganism in Japan? I'm curious to see if there are a lot of vegan restaurants out there. And what people think about it. That'd be interesting to find out.
I drink out of a mason jar. Well, you'd be surprised. A lot of people do. I have them at my house, and this was Vince's house. So let's see. You need a pop filter? Ooh. Vegan recipes.
What do you prepare for dinner on Thanksgiving? I just kind of talked about that wrap. That's become basically a tradition for me on Thanksgiving to make that tofu wrap, and then there's a pumpkin bread recipe that I found on the Vegan 8. She makes up some really great recipes, as well as a mashed potatoes with a Cabernet thyme sauce that is just like like I live for Thanksgiving just to have those mashed potatoes. It's like, and I don't make it. I probably should make it. Now I'm getting hungry for the mashed potatoes. But yeah, those things are kind of like staples. I grew up on like having the turkey and then the mashed potatoes and the stuffing, and we have a stuffing recipe that we use from Spork Foods. It's just now I'm getting hungry. Talking about Thanksgiving, man.
We're going to dinner after this. Knight says, "What type of brands of vitamins do you use?" I don't take vitamins, and do you take vitamins?
I do take vitamins, and I use a brand called Mega Foods. Most of their vitamins are vegan. They're really clean. They're not the cheapest brand, but I found that the way it's processed, just they're really clean. They're good vitamins, so I take those.
Lucia says, "It was my first expo ever. I worked it and didn't have time to get any lunch the day after trying all the samples." Yeah. Did you like it? So you liked it? You enjoyed it?
Hearing you talk about vegan expos and fancy orange cheese makes me super jealous. Sorry about that.
Little Bumble love. No
but can you order? I mean, Miyoko's you can order online, right?
Yes, you can.
So there should be places. Check out the actual websites direct. Does Vegan Essential sell food?
Yeah,
they do. Yeah, there's websites you may be able to get some stuff in
Miserable there. Says vegan burger. Well, we have Beyond. We have the Beyond Burger, which is really good. We have the Crunch Burger with the Q. That's really good. Hillary's burgers are really good.
Hillary's burgers are good. The Impossible Burger is out now.
I haven't had that one yet.
I did a video when we cooked up the Beyond Burger on my channel, and that thing was scary how close it tasted to me, I thought.
Around Halloween, do you give out vegan candy? So I don't like answering the door on Halloween. I like going outside and being a kid. No. Yeah, actually, I gave out. Well, I had my friend give it out, but I had a whole bag of like vegan candies from Yum Earth, who I've already talked about earlier in the video. Yum Earth has a bunch of different vegan candies, and we did a Halloween episode with the Vegan Roadie. And we had a bunch of candy there. So, organic, vegan or not, always organic when possible.
Yeah, I mean, certain things, like for me, when I'm having soy, it has to be organic.
Well, soy is going to be human consumption. Soy is usually organic or non-GMO at least.
But some restaurants you definitely want to check. Berries, I always make sure they're me personally.
Tomatoes,
you have the Dirty Dozen stuff like that. There's a comment on here that says, "I'm sick of being vegan, being an inconvenience."
I wish there was a vegan.
And that's
there is a well. Go ahead.
No, go. Yeah,
I was doing.
I mean, it's tough because if you're around people that aren't vegan and they give you a hard time, but you really just have to stay true to yourself.
I mean, I've dealt with it since I was a teenager, like literally almost 30 years. I've dealt with it, and it's just. I mean, it's not. I mean, yeah, sometimes it gets irritating or whatever, but I mean, in the end, you're doing the right thing, and you should never have to change your lifestyle because it's an inconvenience or something. I feel great. I have no regrets whatsoever going vegan and being that person that I can't eat anything here, guys. And it's happened. I've done it, and especially like in my last couple jobs that I had, and I had to go to like a work function meeting, and they all wanted to go to a steakhouse. I'm not going to be the one that's saying we can't go here. But there's really nothing I can eat there. So, you talk to the chef. Is there anything I can eat there? And
fries.
I don't even trust the fries. What the chef did make for me was he steamed some broccoli, some pasta, and put a little bit of olive oil on it. But yeah, that's not a place I want to be in.
I've had some questions with friends that aren't vegan, probably will never go vegan, but sometimes they do ask me the question of like, why don't you have milk? What's the problem with dairy? And my response I usually give is like, first I ask them, are you sure you want to have this conversation? And they usually say yes, and I'll be like, okay, well, let's just put something in perspective. You have milk that comes from a cow and is perfectly normal, correct? Yes. Okay, well, what if I told you I had a glass of milk that this is like the best tasting milk you ever had, better than cow's milk, better for you, but it comes from a monkey and it's monkey milk? And he goes, well, that's just disgusting. I was like, well, what's the difference if it comes from a cow or a monkey when you're having milk from a different species? And he looks at me and he goes, I never really thought about it like that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you're having something that probably shouldn't be having. So you just have to put it in perspective to people and try to reason with them. And sometimes it's hard if you feel like you're being attacked, but just kind of stay true to yourself. And in the long run, you're going to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Miserable says, I wish there was a vegan fast food chain like McDonald's. There's a place called Veggie Grill.
I tried Veggie Grill, but the closest ones are too far, a little too pricey. Yeah, I'm better making it at home.
Oh, here's a good question.
Yes.
Next Exit says, how do you feel about vegan food that tries to replicate meat? Are you pro or against it? Vegan butcher shop. I think it's great, actually, because it's a transition food. So you got to think about it this way. People are not going to want to like give up a diet of meat and dairy for something that is completely unfamiliar to them. So they're going to want something that replicates what they're used to. And this is what I said when I first tried the Beyond Burger, because it replicates a real burger. It even has the red blood kind of, but it's from beets. So I had to tell myself, this is all vegan. I'm going to try it. And I make the analogy. So I think it is more. It's more normal to say grind up herbs and spices and seeds and nuts and form that together into a patty and cook it up than it is to take an animal that's alive, kill it, grind it up into a burger, put herbs and spices into it that are vegan just to make it taste good, and then grill that up. So we grew up with this backwards thinking that these things that are formed into meat, they never should have been formed into like those foods. It's more normal to make a seitan loaf and cut it up and season it and eat it that looks like a jerky, but people think, oh, you're trying to replicate meat. I think it's just backwards thinking, and we have to like undo that.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I think there's definitely a market for those, especially when people are transitioning. I know I had a lot of those when I was transitioning, because you're still, in a way, sometimes you crave that meat flavor when you haven't had it for a while and you're used to having it almost every day. Now I don't have a lot of it. If I do have soy, it's usually tempeh or tofu, but I try not to have a lot of processed soy. But there's actually a restaurant here in LA called Vinloy Tofu that he has the best mock meats I've ever had.
And he's in Reseda.
He makes them out of either soy or seitan. So depending on what it is, because the seitan's not gluten free, but they're not bad for you. Just don't have them every day, is what I would say.
Ellie or Eli says, is the veggie patty at Subway vegan? I don't know. I remember back in the day it wasn't vegan. It had egg whites in it, so I don't know if they changed it. I don't eat at Subway. I used to way back in the day, but I would just get like a veggie sub without any, and I would bring it home and put Vegenaise on it or something. And there's only a couple of their rolls that are vegan. I think I'm not even going to say it because I don't go there anymore, so I don't know if things have changed.
Some people are commenting that they think it contains eggs.
Yeah, it has eggs in it.
It may not be vegan.
Okay, so you guys are way ahead of us over here.
Favorite vegan ice
Roll
cream?
fist.
Favorite vegan ice cream? Honestly,
for me,
I know what mine is.
I know what mine is.
I have a feeling it's the same one.
It's one of the originals back in the day. It's just so delicious.
Yeah,
it's so delicious. It's probably my favorite, and their cashew ice cream is so good. But I want to go with the original soy-based So Delicious.
You have So Delicious. You have Coconut Bliss.
I don't like the coconut ice creams at all, really.
I actually prefer my own, and I'll just making out of frozen bananas.
Yeah.
And
same here.
I'll take frozen bananas. I'll put it in a food process. I prefer to put it in a food processor rather than a blender because it's easier to get out. But you just put it in you take frozen bananas, you peel them, chop it up, put it in the freezer. You could put cacao in there. You could put peanut butter in there.
Yeah.
I've given it to people, and you don't even really taste the bananas.
And you can make like a hard shell with like you blend up dates and cacao and virgin coconut oil, and then you pour it on there, and it hardens on, and it's like a chocolate.
Yeah, to me, I'd rather just make my own, knowing that there's no added sugars in it, except sugar that may be coming from real food.
V for vegan. Love that. Said that in your Portland video, talking about the burger being formed not reasonable. Eli, or Eli, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. What do you think about the up-and-coming meat from cell cultures? Okay, we got to look at it like this.
Whoa.
So here's what I think about it. Okay, so if it can produce what these people want to eat, and they're not going to go over to a vegan diet, and it's going to cause less harm and suffering to animals, then I think that's great. However, I don't consider it to be vegan. I would never eat it because it's still made with animal protein. It is still, in fact, meat. I distinguish, like I said in many videos, if it has a cell wall, it's a plant protein. It's from a plant. I'll eat that. If it doesn't, it's from an animal. I won't eat it. I do not consider it vegan, but obviously it's going to cause less suffering. But if somebody's going to go through whatever to eat a lab-grown meat, then why wouldn't they just go vegan? You know what I'm saying?
I feel it's almost disturbing.
It is very disturbing.
It's very disturbing when you think about it. It's like people are taking We're
in the future. Any favorite tempeh recipe you have? We have a couple really good ones. Like I said, probably the one we make at Tamerlane Farm with Gabby is probably my favorite. And then we make a vegan tempeh bacon for a BLT. And then we have one other where John makes, what is it? It's like, I don't know. I forget what it was. But it's like, it's a seasoned tempeh. It's good.
What I do with tempeh is, first thing I like to do is boil it. Because when you boil it, it kind of releases it and it allows the flavor to go in. And I'll simply marinate it with some either soy sauce or whatever sauce you want to use. And then I'll add in sometimes some liquid smoke, which kind of gives it a smoky barbecue flavor. And then add in, for a sweetener, if you want a sweetener, I'll add in like Lakanto, which is a monk fruit sweetener. I usually don't put too much of that. And you could literally take the tempeh and make them big blocks and put them on the grill. I'll even do that with, I'll make like a Mexican seasoning with some tomato paste and some water and marinate it with some spices and grill it on the. I love the grill. I used to barbecue before I became vegan, and I still do that now. Whether it's tofu, whether it's tempeh, mushroom. I mean, I put anything on the grill that I can. I just feel like it when you get that chard and that flavor, I actually still enjoy that.
Vegan Nirvana in Huntington Beach. I went to the Donuttery in Huntington Beach a couple nights ago. So we have confirmation. Valerie says, I work at Subway and the veggie patty does contain eggs. So the not
Thank
vegan.
you for that, though, Valerie.
Okay, so where are we at now?
I think you said that in your video.
Pamela says, being vegan really changed my health and to feeling better in life.
Awesome. That's great, Pamela.
I feel better physically and mentally. It's just a great thing.
Alcoholic beverages.
I've never tasted alcohol. I don't drink. I'm straight edge. I've never touched alcohol before. So that's all you.
I used to drink alcohol. I probably haven't had an alcoholic drink in 8 to 10 years. I just don't really have a desire to drink. And after being diagnosed with colitis, the thought of putting alcohol in my body just didn't really appeal to me. I don't want to say I'll never drink, because if there was... And I won't drink and drive, so if there was an occasion where I was at some place and somebody had something that I really wanted to try, I may have a sip, but I'm definitely not what you would call a drinker at all, by any means.
Michelle says, I'm vegan and so are my kids, but my husband just doesn't want to budge and be vegan. He doesn't want to lose muscle. Any advice? So one of the strongest men in the world is a vegan. A lot of pro athletes, UFC fighters are vegan. I'm vegan, but yeah, go check out Instagram page Tory Washington.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say.
He never had meat in his life. He's been a long time vegan, and he is just a bodybuilder, muscle guy. Also, badass vegan. John Lewis. Mm-hmm. I mean, he represents Vegan Smart protein company, and I mean, Robert Cheek, another bodybuilder. These are people like vegan, longtime vegans that have muscle. And
I mean, you could look at even athletes. David Carter, the 300-pound vegan, he was a professional NFL player. He transitioned to vegan because a lot of the inflammation and everything that was damaging his body. You could look at somebody like Tom Brady, who has incorporated more of a plant-based diet. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, incorporated more plant-based diets. Tyrann Mathieu, who's an NFL player right now, he's vegan as well. So you are seeing people that can strive have muscle, be fit, and strive at the highest level of competition and still be vegan. So it's definitely possible. If they have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Go to my website. It's vince@vincelia.com, and I could help whoever.
Is the Rabbit also says go check out Dr. Greger. Dr. Greger is great, and he gives scientific research on a lot of things. So muscle, also soy is a great one that he talks about.
So turkey, boom,
yeah. I recommend you look whatever alcohol you're interested in. But yeah, Barnivore is a great app. My brothers are both vegan and they drink in the Barnivore app. I've never had to deal with it just because I don't drink.
Jane Doe, why are you vegan? Or why are you straight?
I'm
sorry, my bad.
Well, okay, so the story goes when I was little, I grew up I grew up a long time ago, and my mom always said, hey, she was a worrywart, and if you don't ever do drugs. If you do drugs, you could die of just trying it one time. I'm like, really? Anyway, I grew up religious. I'm no longer religious, but I grew up religious, and I had to make my First Communion. In First Communion, you go up there and you get the Eucharist, the piece of bread, and then you drink some wine. So I'm like, I get to drink some wine. So as I'm going up there, I see the priest giving the wine to everybody, and they're all drinking out of the same cup. I was a germ freak. I'm like, ew, I don't want any of that. So I didn't have to take. So I didn't drink wine then. Then a few years later, I'm in middle school, and I saw in health class they showed us like a good liver and then a cirrhosis liver from alcohol, and I'm like, wow, and I know it's over a long period of time, but I go, if alcohol can do that to your liver, I don't want to ever do any. And for the same thing, they showed good lungs and smoker's lungs. So I wanted to be as healthy as I could. And then a few years after that, I just, I heard the term straight edge. I'm like, that's me. That's me. I never, and after that, I never wanted to lose my state of mind. So I've never been drunk. I've never tasted alcohol. I've never tasted, I know this doesn't fall into it, but I've never tasted coffee either. And so that's my take on it. I don't judge other people that do that. Obviously my friends and family, they all drink alcohol, and I have friends that, smoke or whatever, recreational, that kind of thing. And, I never judge anybody. I just don't want to be around it. I don't want to put it in my body, that kind of thing. Do you work out? If you do, how often? I work out every single day. I'm going on, I'm going on almost 5 years of working out without missing a day. I have a video. Impressive, man. I have a video online about what I do. I don't work out to bulk up and get big. Just stay in shape, really. Most of my main exercises are pull-ups when I can't. Luckily, Vince has a pull-up bar, but when I stay at a place that doesn't have pull-ups, I'll just do extra push-ups. So I might do, 200 or 300 push-ups there, and then maybe some, different things like, sun squats and that kind of thing. I don't go to the gym. I do everything at my own house. But yeah, you can check out my workout video, and I'll show you what I do.
Yeah, and I work out probably probably about 3 times a week. But I just do it locally here. A lot of body weight stuff, pull-ups, push-ups, stuff like that.
Mr. Hakula says, yeah, dudes, come on, smoke a little crack. It's funny that you say that, because when I was growing up, crack just came out, and my mom was trying to tell me. That was the story. I just didn't want to say it. But she's like, I was saying, like, oh, Mom, the girl down the street has these little white rocks, and they're tasty. They were like some salt crystals. She goes, oh, I just heard about a new thing called crack, and if you try it once, you can die. I'm like, what? I can die by eating the salt, and like she was just, turned everything. So yeah, I was eating crack when I was little. No.
Heart health, vegan products. I would say if you want looking to improve heart health, you're just
products. I would say for heart health,
foods.
You just want to eat a lot of whole foods. Yeah. Take a lot of the processed foods out of your diet. And, watch Forks Over Knives. They show the whole scientific thing behind that. Like, you have a really messed up heart that, you're almost ready to have a coronary bypass, and you change your diet, and, the thing is your body is resilient. You start to heal.
Like the China study and heart disease and the correlation between the foods we're eating. That's really powerful.
John Joseph is also another good vegan athlete. Yes. Ironman. So we have a whole team, Strong Hearts Vegan Running Team, and we run 200-mile relay. And our charity is going to Tamerlane Farm. So I've been with these guys for 3. This is going to be the 3rd time I'm doing it, and it's going to be June 2nd. So we have a whole team, and our vegan team, out of all the other teams in the country that joined this, our elite vegan team came in number 2 out of everybody, the elite marathoners. They couldn't believe it. People the first year were making fun, bacon, but we left everybody in the dust, and they saw our logos as Vegan Power on our shirts. And by the end of it, they were like, "Wow, you vegans are wow!" and they asked us, they're like, "Are you guys all really?" Yes, we're all really vegan, and we made friends with so many people.
I'm actually working on a vegan challenge that's going to be going on my YouTube channel soon with Farm Sanctuary, and it's interesting to see the stereotypes you have when you ask people what do you think vegan food is. A lot of times they think you're some hippie drinking green juice all the time. You don't really realize where you're going to get your protein source from, whether it's legumes. There's so many plant-based proteins available for people. Even greens have a certain amount of proteins, and it's having just the right amino acids in there and getting a full spectrum.
Let's see. You should dress up as a vegan zombie for Halloween this year. I did that 2 years ago on the cruise ship, the vegan cruise. I dressed up as a zombie. I'm not usually the guy that dresses up. I'm the guy that is videotaping the guy that's dressing up as a zombie. Let's see.
Jane
Doe. But Bohemian is a damn vegan beast. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, he's the strong man that I was talking about. And I actually, when we did our book tour in Germany, because he's from Germany, I believe, and he messaged us, and he just missed us because when we were in Germany, he was in the United States. So we wanted to meet up with him, but it didn't work out.
Glad we could help you out, Michelle. Jane Doe. It's not like drinking is going to kill you.
Oh no, I don't think that either. I'm saying from me, I don't want to drink. I'm not saying that you're going to be unhealthy by drinking a drink or two.
That's just more of
it's my personal choice.
Oh, no, the sanctuary.
I'm not acting like it will kill you. I'm just saying when I was in 7th grade, my OCD was running overtime, and I told myself, well, if that's what it can do, a lot of it, I don't want to do any of it, because to me it was a poison. So
yeah, I grew up in an Italian family, and my dad has a glass of red wine every night.
With dinner
Most of my family did, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just something that I personally choose not to do. But if that's your thing and that's what you want to do, I don't think there's any harm in having that. Let's see.
But he does. I don't act like it will kill me. I just prefer not to ever touch alcohol.
Any update on the fake sanctuary?
No update on the fake sanctuary.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're at the end of the comments, and we've gone over an hour. We're still going to do one with you on Facebook.
Yeah, we're going to hop on Facebook.
We're going to go on Vince's channel. Check him out, the Vince Lia, if you want to come join us and talk about some other things on his channel. Feel free to do that. We're going to be on Facebook Live in a little bit.
Yeah, you can find me at Facebook at the Vince Lia. YouTube just Vince Lia. But yeah, this has been great. I love connecting with everybody. Feel free, if you guys have any more questions, hop on over to Facebook, and we'll be there in a few. Any more questions coming in?
I've never been drunk before. Vince is drinking before.
I haven't been drunk, but I've have alcohol before. Exactly, due to his colitis.
Anyway, no judging, just my personal preference, just to be clear on that. All right, guys, thanks everybody for watching. I hope to do this again soon.
Yeah, see you at Facebook at the Vince Lia. Just give us a few. We're gonna hop on.
Oh, great! I don't know how to turn this off. This is my first time. Well, you guys can sit here and watch us try to turn this off.
I think you got to go to the.
Okay,
go to there.
There we go.
Yeah.
And stop.
See ya.